During a facilitation practice, it's good to spend some time having the teachers reflect on what they did, what questions they have about how to do it better, and as the instructor to offer them some supportive feedback. Here's something to remember. Now that you've tried this, don't ever forget. It's funny, teachers, they look at you doing it and they go, oh yeah, okay, I get it. They get up and they leave all sorts of things out. And then they go, boy, that didn't work out so well. And it's like, well, it didn't work out so well because you forgot A, B, and C. And they're like, oh my gosh, you're right. And it's like, that's why we do it. And the feedback is not, did they do it right or wrong? The feedback is completely, remember this, don't forget to try that, keep this in this order so that you help them work through it. It's a recent workshop I just did, teachers were like, this is really hard. It's like, yeah, that's why I want you to practice so that we can get inside, get it in your mind, the structure that you're working with, so it becomes a little more second nature. And that's the point. Try it, think about it, reflect on it. Let me give you some pointers, try it again, and you'll get better at it. Yeah, things you might improve on or whatever, and then we'll spend the last few minutes just kind of coalescing the experience here of what we can do to move you all on to another level with this. I'll repeat the transitions one because I noticed it multiple times. It's just knowing when you're in one piece and when you're in another. That really helps the group to be able to work. Because if you're asking them to talk about something and then you slide right into them creating something, I think they don't have enough time to deliberately make choices. They're trying to catch up with the time frame. And we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure they have enough time. And I noticed that a few of you gave time and then you saw that people were moving faster, so you're trying to count faster. Yeah. My solution to that generally is not to count every number. In other words, if I say you're going to have 15 seconds to work on it, then I might go 15, 14. Think about what choices you're making, how you focus on, how you helping each other, 12, 11. Then I can adjust the time frame because I'm leaving gaps in it. So if I see that people are moving faster, I don't have to go 5, 4, 3, 2, you know what I mean? I can just be like, I'm on 10, and then it's like, I see if everybody's getting close to done, so let's finish it up, 3, 2, 1. And I can stay at the same pace, but I've skipped a whole lot of numbers. Yeah, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to catch up to you, but I'm still kind of leading that whole thing. It's something you just get used to as you work on it, yeah. That's not a big deal, small tricks. Yeah, okay. And then the last one, I think this might be helpful if there's a little bit of visualization in this, is how we begin. Because I feel like if we're not prepped to hear the prompt, then it gets lost in amongst the other things that we're thinking about. So my question to you is, what do you think is going to be the absolute first step that you really want to take to make sure they're ready to hear your prompt? What do you feel like is the first step that you need to take to make sure they're ready and settled to hear your prompt? It's kind of how you prepare the situation. Yes, and I think that's a really big. So if the first thing we do is start to say, this is what we're going to do, I feel like we're not ready for that. Yeah, it's like we got to get in the space that we're going to be ready to hear that. So if it's a matter of cleaning up our space, if it's a matter of finding our partners, if it's a matter of standing in a particular place or sitting in a particular place, if it's a matter of getting into a small circle with a group, whatever you want, it's like, let's make sure that all this prep is done. Because if we start to give a prompt or part of a prompt before we do this, we've just lost some of the prompt because we've got all this other stuff going on. Yeah, so I feel like let's get this into the place where we want to be, then we're ready to introduce whatever we're going to introduce. Then we got nothing. We know that we're going to work in a group. We know who that group is. We got all that stuff out of the way, so then we can accurately, pay attention to the prompt. And as soon as the prompt's done, we're ready to start working. Yeah, excuse my spelling and whatnot. Yeah, there's nothing going to be in between here that's going to separate us from immediately start using the prompt that we're given. Does that make sense? It's a small thing, but it's easy, I think, to get these things on top of each other. And if we can really just set it up, then the prompt's going to be easier to just slide into the conversation and the work that we need to do.